Welcome to the WRC podcast. I'm your host, Katrina Marie, and you're in the right place. Here at the Well-Rounded Counselor podcast, what you can expect is to learn, shift your thinking, and gain personal and professional growth. And if you have not yet done so, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another podcast episode. The conversation starts now. Welcome to the Well-Rounded Counselor podcast. In this episode, we're joined by Tanzila Javed, an experienced emotional health counselor with over 8 years of expertise in guiding students through their emotional challenges. Currently pursuing her PhD in counseling psychology while balancing a fulfilling family life, Tanzila brings a wealth of insights into addressing barriers faced by counselors and navigating the complexities of student emotional health. Join us as we delve into her journey, experiences, and invaluable advice for both students, parents, and aspiring counselors alike. Welcome, Tanzila, so much. Thank you for joining me on the Well-Rounded Counselor podcast today.
Hi, Katrina. Thank you. I'm obliged to be the part of today's podcast.
Let's talk a little bit more about your background and what led you to become a counselor.
Okay, so initially I wanted to be a doctor. I did my pre-medical, and after that in Pakistan, especially when you have done pre-medical, there is very, restricted few options for you. You can go for botany, zoology, or psychology. So I always knew that I am good in, talking, pursuing people. And so those guts were there. So I decided to pursue psychology. I did my BS honors in psychology, and then I did masters in educational psychology. And right now I'm doing PhD. Along with that, I have served as a special educator 1 year in a special school. Then I served as a clinical psychologist for 2 years again in a special school. And right from last 4 years, I'm serving as a regional emotional health counselor in a normal school setup. So yeah, this is my short journey of 7 to 8 years.
Wow, that's so impressive. I mean, you have such a diverse experience working with so many different types of students and families. So how do you approach addressing emotional health issues faced by students in their daily lives? Are there any specific strategies or techniques you find particularly effective?
Yeah, actually, Katrina, when I just started, obviously, initially you are not very good in, knowing the basic strategies. But with the passage of time, I got to know that it is the trust and, a kind of trust you and your counselee built, right? So it's empathy, active listening. You just involve to that particular student who wants to talk to you. So you give him a space of trust, firstly, definitely. Then you move towards the specific rapport building. And the technique which I'm using for, this is something which is predominantly, you can say that it's highlighted from the childhood till the, teens. You can use cognitive behavioral therapy in which, you try to make the child aware of his or her thoughts, and then you make him realize these emotions which he is having are because of this thought pattern. And then eventually, when he will be able to know his thought patterns, he will reconstruct those thought patterns, and then he or she can control the behaviors he is having. So this is for the, you can from the grade 5 to first year, second year students. This is basic technique which I'm using. And other than, young kids who are from 3 to 7 to 8 years, most of we use behavioral techniques, reward and reinforcement. And this is something which, because every child is unique, every child may have a different issue, and that need to be catered according to his personality. So yeah, these are the basic things which I'm doing in my practice.
I love that you talked about CBT. I think it's such an effective form of counseling, and it's one of the common ones that many practitioners are using, but they don't even know that they're using it. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Could you share
exactly.
Could you share some insights into the challenges students typically face from an early years age group to high school based on your experience?
Yeah, actually, the starting years, early childhood students do have behavioral issues. They, attention span issues. They don't know specific sitting issues with teachers, come up. with specifically from age 3 to 7 years. They are struggling very hard for specific students who are not able to give their attention span and give their attention to what they are saying, command following, and these are the issues. But when you move towards middle age, like say, early teens and 9, 10, 11, 12 years, they are having some like may have time management issues, anxiety issues. They don't know, they are facing paper anxiety, relationship issues. They'd hardly know how to interact, and which we have just I remember identity biases, identity crisis, I guess. So these are the issues which from the age of 8 to 11, 12, they face, that they don't know how to build their relationships, improve their relationships, right? Trust issues. And then we move towards the 9, 10, and then high school. They are having very much overthinking. The most of people students come up to me and they say that they are very possessive about things. They don't know how to control their thinking patterns. They are overthinking. They are not able to manage their time. And then they have issues with their parents, identity issues, or also they want some independence, which hardly they are getting from the parents. So yeah, these are the issues which are basically highlighted from childhood till high school.
Wow, that is so true. And as someone with extensive experience in counseling and guidance like yourself, what advice would you give to parents regarding supporting their children's emotional health?
Okay, this is something very, very important, Katrina. I believe being a parent from last 6 to 7 years, this is the most challenging thing, which is need to be highlighted. I believe that in everyday life, parents are organized. They know when to go for a job and other things, but they haven't organized specific hours to give to their children. I believe the children should be given specific time when they will be like, when you are having half an hour or an hour for dinner and everything. So there should be 1 hour meeting, time with parents. Parents should organize their daily task and should add specific time to engage their kids and let them talk freely. How was the day? Letting them know what in this routine, the student, the child will be doing his or her catharsis in front of his parents. Like parents would be able to listen and not no commands for that. They will be giving a friendship zone to their kids. So my specific that you can say the suggestion is for parents is that they should specifically they should organize their day and give 1.5 hour to their kids. Let them talk, let them feel comfort, let them feel that they're being listened, right? Mm-hmm. So this practice should be consistent. Like it shouldn't be like once in a blue moon. Like it should be consistent, and the kids will be looking up for the next day that now these things I have to tell to my parent, and then I believe this will solve half of the problems.
So, how do you balance your roles as a counselor, yes, PhD student, and a parent of 3 young children? Do you have any tips for like maintaining a healthy work-life balance?
Yes, actually, initially it was very difficult. There were many times when I decided to, quit my studies, maybe job. But I believe this is your dedication to something. Like for me, my PhD was something I always, wished for. And then having kids, I never thought that having kids would be, making a hurdle for my way to accomplish my PhD. And then job was also something which make me consistent, organized. So the tip for anyone who want to pursue these 3 things alongside, she should be very dedicated. If he or she wants to achieve something in one, like he want to do PhD, he cannot negate the very important factor of his life, that he need to be married. So we are having vitamins, proteins, carbohydrates, fats, right? So these are the balanced things which we need. So we know the percentages and we add those into our daily meals. So you have to organize which is the priority, and you have to set that accordingly. So for me, I never took my family, above my PhD, right? So no, sorry, I would say the family was my always priority. So I took and organized things, and where I thought that the other thing need more time, more dedication, I gave there as well. And there were times when I took leave from my job as well, because there was time to give more time to my kids. So you should be consistent, you should be dedicated, and there's no physical entity to help you, you should be very motivated, and you should be very determined to do what you want to, and eventually God helps you. I believe if you have just strong feeling that you can do that, eventually Allah, you have a plan, and it is accomplished by the plan, by the bigger planner.
I agree with you. That's so beautifully said. And, I know many of my listeners, they probably already have a PhD and they can relate to the balancing act of what you just explained. But then there's also many of my listeners who don't even have, maybe a college degree, or maybe they're thinking about getting a master's in counseling. But what inspired you specifically to pursue a PhD in counseling psychology, and how do you see it complementing the work as an emotional health counselor?
When I did my graduation from Pakistan, I always thought that there's always new things to learn. And the degree is something which gives you broader aspect. You go for other courses, you learn from your teachers. Eventually, after my master's, while I was doing master's, many of my teachers were doing PhD. And when I saw them, how dedicated and how, well organized they are, and they are how certain about their future plans, at that very time I decided that I'm going to go for PhD, because doing PhD opens your mind to a diverse research work, evidence-based practices, and having a PhD would give you enormous kind of knowledge. And I believe that if you are you want to pursue in any kind of subject, you want to be the master. I always remember one of the saying said by Robin Sharma. He said that if you want to be, something, be the master of your craft. Whatever you are doing, if you are doing, cutting hairs, be the best in that. So if you want to be the best, what you are doing, you need to be at their highest level, right?
Absolutely. I love that. I agree with you. Like it's kind of going back to like how we counsel students, especially in the college counseling process. We say, oh, you got to have like all these extracurriculars, and you got to be smart, and you got to have good grades, and you have to have this balancing act. But what you just said is like, no, pick a couple things or pick one thing and be like super good at that and grow with that and evolve it. And I love what you said. Now, I just have a few more questions left for you. In your opinion, what are some key factors contributing to emotional health issues among students today, and how can educators and parents address these challenges effectively?
Yes, I was just saying that parents need to give them time, and then teachers also should know why the certain the patterns of their students are being changed. So there should be red, signals for the teachers and for the parents to that need to be identified, like if there's a normal patterns of engaging them, and maybe sleep patterns, eating patterns, any of them is not normal, and you think that this is something unusual, you need to be very vigilant and talk to your child, talk to the teacher what has happened, and be the best friend of your teachers, students, or your kids, because I think if they will be your friend, half of the matters will be solved by your vigilancy and your open eyes.
I love that. That's so true. And I think it's a team effort to help each other at the end of the day. No matter if you're a student or an adult, like you need supportive people who can help you grow. What advice would you give an aspiring counselor who's just starting their career in the field of maybe mental health or counseling in general?
Yes. I would say at that time when I, thought that I will be a counselor, There wasn't no chat GPT or no other services, no internet. Maybe I'm not that old, but you can say that we weren't knowing these things, right? So I would suggest the new aspiring counselors that they should start right now. Read as much as you can, new journals, articles, explore things, try to listen to others, right? And engage yourself into learning processes, make tasks that you have to read 2 to 3 articles, or you have to go for you have to read DSM, or what specific you have to complete in this week. You have to go for autism, or certain kind of you need to go for specific tasks, mini tasks, and then accomplish them daily. So I would say read, explore, and listen to new aspiring counselors.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom today. It was so wonderful for me to learn from you, and I'm sure my listeners as well. If people would like to get in touch with you, how can they?
Okay, so you guys anybody who want to talk to me, who want any help, I am here. I'm available. You can connect with me using my LinkedIn.
Perfect. That's amazing. I'll make sure to link in your LinkedIn account in the show notes. So in case anybody has questions, wants to connect with Tanzila, I'm sure, you guys can connect there. And
definitely.
Tanzila, thank you so much for joining us today on the Well-Rounded Counselor podcast. It was such a joy to have you, and I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did.
Thank you. I'm really obliged.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today on today's episode, and I can't wait to catch you guys on the next episode. Did you love the episode? I hope you're feeling inspired and no longer feeling alone out there, and you're ready to evolve and become a better person. Make sure that you share this podcast or take a screenshot and post it on your social media. That's how you help spread this podcast organically, and people can find it much easier when you share, or share it with a loved one. I'm your host, Katrina Marie, and make it your mission to be a blessing in someone else's life today.